Hello, everyone, and welcome to an episode of the Football for Life Show podcast with your host, Wheelie. This is just a quick video summing up some of the transfer news for today. That is Monday, the 21st of June, 2021. Sourcing from the Liverpool Echo, Zambian News, Italy, and taking from Twitter, but across England and Europe. So let's just start right away, shall we? From the Liverpool Echo, Connor O'Neill wrote that Liverpool told that they need more than Van Dijk. Former Tottenham and England star Darren Anderton believes that just the return of Virgil van Dijk will not be enough to make Liverpool title challengers again next season. Virgil van Dijk's season-ending injury in October saw Liverpool lose their best centre-back, with their form suffering as a result. But after a strong end to the season, many believe the Reds, with Van Dijk returning, can challenge again for the title next season. However, Anderton sees things differently and believes the Reds will need more than just the return of their talisman to challenge for the title again. He said, Liverpool are going to need a few changes in order to compete again for the Premier League. I think that is the best front three were. I think that the front three were standing in that year or 2 years, but they went off the boil a little bit last year. Obviously, they need Virgil van Dijk back, and that will make a huge difference for them. But it will be big enough to get them back challenging. Will it be enough to get them back challenging? I'd be very surprised. On transfer, another transfer story is that Aston Villa midfielder John McGinn is being linked with a move to Liverpool. The Sunday Post is reporting that the Scotland international is being eyed by Jurgen Klopp and his side. Klopp wants to bolster his side after a disappointing defence of their 2019-2020 Premier League title, and the departure of Gini Wijnaldum for Paris Saint-Germain has created a vacancy in midfield. McGinn, who has also been linked with Manchester United, is a key player for Villa and is under contract with the club until 2025. This next story comes to us from both Twitter and Sky Sports and their transfer centre. So this article is called Sterling Unhappy at Lack of City Playing Time. Raheem Sterling has admitted he was not happy with his lack of playing time at Manchester City last season. The England forward has been linked with a move away for the Premier League champions after finding himself on the bench on a number of occasions towards the back end of the 2021 campaign, including the Champions League quarterfinal and semi-final ties. The 26-year-old did score in England's opening Euro 2020 game against Croatia last week. Great goal. Sterling puts his form down to just doing what he loves best. And Sterling says, it's just happiness, just being happy. Enjoying my football, and that's what I'm doing, being here with this national team. He said, if you're not playing, then you're not happy. And that's me. That's been me since I was a kid. If I'm playing football, I'm really happy. If I'm not happy. So yeah, let me know in the comment section your thoughts as to what you think the Sterling situation is like, and where do you think it will go? Do you think he'll stay at City? Do you think he'll leave? If so, where do you think he'll go? I don't think Real Madrid or Barcelona can pay for him. I think maybe a Liverpool could theoretically get him back. I think he would really want to play for us again. I think he would love the playing time that we could give him. But again, like, he has gone off the boil and he hasn't scored and a lot recently. It was a great goal for England, but he then was disappearing a lot for large amounts in that game, and then was abysmal in the Scotland game. But yeah, it's still a big story, you know. Like, he was very treasured here until he left, and it was seen as this massive betrayal. that he just went to Manchester City for money. Because it was like a 55 million price tag, and we cashed in, and he agitated to leave, and it's very sore among Liverpool fans, as many of you know. And yeah, it would be interesting to see what the reaction would be like if he wanted to return, or if we were interested in him again. Oh, sorry, I involuntarily yawn. Okay, the next story is that has something to do with our Greek left back who came in for Andy Robertson as cover, Kostas Tsimikas, who's obviously had like a really weird first season. The article states here, Liverpool signed Kostas Tsimikas from Olympiacos last summer as a backup for Andrew Robertson. The Greek international has found game time hard come by with just 7 appearances for the Reds so far. And now Fabrizio Romano has been cited as saying, let's see what happens with Tsimikas. He can leave the club. Now that's really interesting because he came in, he got injured, he got coronavirus when he recovered from his injury, and then he got injured again. And, he did show some, he was in some games, but yeah, he looked absolutely exhausted the entire time. And he looked like he was just completely out of gas, like 5 minutes into these matches. Now, that could have been residual from coronavirus, or it could have been just that he was on it. That was just how he looked, or that was how he found the English game. And then in that case, he wasn't cut out for this. So if we want to move him on and we want to get and we want to get and we know we can get our money back, the amount that we paid for him, we get him that back, then brilliant. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's sell him. If it means we can then go out and buy someone that is actually more suitable in that position. Cool. And now we're heading into the final sort of stretch now. The next story comes from Conor O'Neill again. And it's called Neuhaus signing more likely. Liverpool is reportedly more likely to sign Florian Neuhaus than Yuri Tielemans this summer. The Reds have been linked with the Borussia Mönchengladbach midfielder by numerous media outlets in both the UK and Germany. Although the Echo understands there is interest, no approach has been made. Contradictory to what we've been hearing. Or yeah, there's that idea. There's rumors that a deal is ready, but we just have to wait for the right time in order to submit it. It says the article goes on to say Tielemans has also been linked with the Reds in recent weeks, but according to The Athletic, it is apparently more realistic to see Neuhaus signing than the Leicester City star, because Tielemans has been estimated his price would be around 75 million pounds, which is very, very steep for us. I think 40, which is what Neuhaus would cost, or 35, depending on what unit of currency you use. I think he seems like a more reasonable option. And James Pearce wrote, is quoted as saying, senior Anfield sources insist Liverpool aren't currently in the market for a midfielder. However, it's hard to believe the stance won't change later in the window, which is somewhat contradictory to everything we've been hearing, which is like there's a move imminent. We're very excited to go and get a midfielder in this position. It seems like a load of contradictory evidence. And actually, like what we know with a lot of the Liverpool journos is that a lot of them run interference for the club now, because we are so like coy with who we buy and when we buy them and why we buy them and the state of the negotiations. It doesn't raise. It's meant so that we're not living in total anticipation all the time. We're not expecting someone to come in and get angry when it doesn't. There's like room to maneuver and just let them do their job. But yeah, it does get a little bit hard. Well, it gets very annoying when you want to find out good information and then you don't know which ones are running interference, or you're having to guess, and then they change. And then some other reports, really. Yeah. Oh, itchy eyebrow. Oh, that's better. Baumgartner tight-lipped on Liverpool reports. Hoffenheim midfielder Christoph Baumgartner was tightly lipped when asked about official reports Liverpool were interested in the Austria international. He said, in this tournament, there is not much time to think about rumours like that. He said in the pre-match conference ahead of the game, his side's clash against Ukraine on Monday. In my career, I have already learned that they will always link you to other clubs. I don't want to deny that I like hearing some of that, but now it's not a topic at all for me, and I focus on the tournament. It's part of the job to deal with these kinds of rumours. I already have some experience with that. It's better to have those rumours than rumours in other areas. Next story. Liverpool interested in Sassuolo's Berardi. Liverpool are reportedly interested in signing Sassuolo winger Domenico Berardi this summer. According to reports in the Daily Express, the 26-year-old has started both of Italy's Euro 2020 fixtures so far this summer. And then more updates, just sort of on where the club is at in terms of its youth players. So from Neil Jones on Twitter, Liverpool confirms that young defender Sepp van den Berg will move on loan to Preston for the 2021-22 campaign, having spent the second half of last season at Deepdale. As expected, van den Berg returning to Preston North End on loan for that season. The Championship had first option with Liverpool pleased with his development there at that time of the season. The statement on the club's website reads, Liverpool have confirmed that Sepp van den Berg will return to Preston North End on loan for the 2021-22 season. It says the Liverpool defender spent the second half of last campaign at Deepdale, making 16 appearances for the club in the Championship. A deal has now been finalised for the Netherlands Youth International to link up with Preston ahead of the forthcoming campaign. Van den Berg, for those that don't know, joined the Reds in the summer of 2019 from PEC Zwolle and has featured 4 times for Jurgen Klopp's first team to date. A follow-up quote tweet from the Redmen TV says, Sepp van den Berg returns to Preston on loan. They seem to quite like him there. Hope he gets another good season. And then the final 2 updates. Ousmane Dembele, that age-old rumor. Ousmane Dembele leaves the gathering of the France team. The FC Barcelona player is forfeited until the end of the Euros. RMC Sport. Now that's from Mohamed Hafsi, hence why the words are a little bit out of order. I translated them from the French, not from my own French knowledge, but using the internet. So in English translation, it's from Get Football France, Football News France. Barcelona winger Ousmane Dembele has quit the France national team for Euro 2020 this morning after it was confirmed that the knee problem he picked up versus Hungary would keep him out for at least 3 weeks. The 24-year-old looked promising in France's latest tournament opponents, but the adventure comes to a premature end, as reported by RMC. And then the final report is with Daka. Obviously, it's now been confirmed that he's joining Leicester City after they came out and confirmed it. But there's a little bit more on that. And reportedly, he rejected Liverpool after being offered more regular first-team football by Leicester City. The Red Bull Salzburg forward is believed to have been close to signing a move to the King Power. After the Foxes struggled to agree with a fee with Celtic to sign long-term target Odsonne Edouard. According to Zambian Football, Daka got as far as holding talks with Liverpool, as well as West Ham, but opted for Leicester after he was offered more playing time under Brendan Rodgers. So a bit more on Daka, and this is from Zambian News. Daka was on fire for Salzburg last season, smashing 34 goals and 12 assists in 42 games. And they talk about it being a simply ridiculous record. And that is, I mean, that's frightening. After losing Erling Haaland in January 2020, Salzburg now look set to lose Daka too, but don't expect to see him at Liverpool. Yeah. And I guess there's a question about, would he have fit in at Liverpool? We do need to find young attackers to help Bobby Firmino, Mohamed Salah, and Sadio Mane out, with all the players approaching their 30s, as I made it a point in the video the other day. Daka's pace and energy could have been a great fit for Jurgen Klopp's side, and we love to recruit players from the Red Bull clubs, Leipzig. It meant that we could get Naby Keita, Konate now. Well, and then we got the Red Bull clubs also meant that we got we were linked to Huang, but then we got Takumi Minamino from them, and then we got and then famously Mane himself have all played for RB Leipzig or RB Salzburg, with their style of play clearly similar to Liverpool's. And so in many respects, it's not a great surprise to see Liverpool go for Daka, and this snub could hurt. Not only will we now have to face Daka in the Premier League, but if we want to sign him in the future, he will be a lot more than 23 million, which is what he was being priced at. So this kind of wraps it up for me, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Share, like, comment on, do you think Daka will do well at Leicester? Do you think he'll do well in the Premier League altogether? Do you think he'll have the physicality for it? Do you think Liverpool have missed out on a real target here? What do people think about the fact that there's been a lot of rumours coming from Zambian football and other African football outlets? And only now there seems to be more concrete evidence that he is coming over. What do people think about Ousmane Dembele? As always, he's always linked to us. He seems to be this incredible player that never got to fulfill any of his potential, really. He had that breakout season at Dortmund, and then he's just had horrific injuries and attitude problems and things. And yeah, what do people think about Tsimikas and Sepp Vandenberg? Do you think it's good for Vandenberg to go back to Preston? By all accounts, he did really well there. And what do you think about Tsimikas? Barely saw him. 7 appearances. That's basically in and out, in 1 second, out the next. And yeah, finally, what do people think about McGinn and Sterling? Do you think McGinn would do well in our midfield? What do you think about his 2025 contract? Do you think we could get him quite cheap? Do you think he would want to come here? Yeah, just let me know below. And take care, everyone, and have a wonderful week.